Hello, sisters. I'm Sherry Harris, Chapter V, Bentonville, and we have been invited to share with you the story of our active project team. In 2019, we discussed the fact that our chapter had not been actively sponsoring young women for our loans and grants, as we are designated to do. With much inspiration from the amazing project recipients who spoke at the 150th anniversary celebration in Des Moines, we decided to move out of our comfort zone and do this. Instead of individual committees for each project, we chose 5 active members interested in and dedicated to supporting deserving young women and sponsoring them for all of the projects. We first learned about the process to sponsor ELF candidates. We were successful with 2 awards, which inspired us to study, learn, and move on to PCE next, then Star and Scholar Award. We have continued to learn more about all of our projects, find candidates, and guide them through the process to apply for our grants and loans.
Hello, I'm Yvonne Springfield, and I'm going to tell you how and where we find our students to interview. First of all, ask your chapter members if they know any outstanding young women who are going to college or planning to go to college. Perhaps they have a daughter or a granddaughter who would qualify. For STAR and COTI scholarship applicants, you can check with counselors and teachers at your local high school. For other scholarships like PCE, check with junior colleges. Every year, the University of Arkansas has a time where we can listen to many qualified young women on Zoom who are pursuing a doctorate degree and we can choose one of them as our candidate for a scholar award. We are fortunate to have the single parent scholarship fund of Northwest Arkansas as a good resource to find students needing assistance. ELF loans can be awarded to anyone attending college as long as they have 2 people with good credit history to sign for them. There are many young women out there wanting to make a better life for themselves and their families, and we have the means to give them that financial help.
And I would just add that most girls going into college already have an essay and their resume prepared. So it's not asking too much of them. They're ready to hand it in because they want those scholarships.
I'm Megan Brunetti, and I'm going to talk about your part of the online application. Theme of this is start with the end in mind. So tip 1 is take a look at those essay questions that your chapter will need to answer about the applicant. When we schedule an interview, the first thing we do is circulate those essay questions for that particular grant or loan to the other project committee members. That keeps at the forefront of our minds the questions we'll need to be able to answer about that candidate. Then after the interview, one of the project team members takes on answering the essay questions, but then she circulates her responses to the entire committee via email. And anyone's free to chime in. There's no offense to editing again and again with the recommendations the other committee members have about those essay responses. We find that when we work together, we make our best case for consideration. Now, don't be intimidated. These are short essays, just 100 to 300 words. That's just a couple paragraphs, and it goes by super quickly. So tip 2 is make sure you know what information you're going to need before you even sit down to the computer. All of the projects have resource documents online. Take a look at them, make a list of the information your chapter is going to need to include on the application. This can include things like the chapter vote date, graduation dates, and tuition deadlines. Once you've gathered all that information, you're ready to sit down and type up your online application for the candidate. Now, I promise this part is not as scary as it seems. And it's like most things, practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the easier it really does become. But if you get stuck in the middle, you can always save your work and come back to it as many times as you need before you actually hit that submit button. Good luck. you can do this.
Megan is a pro at this, but where she finds all that information is on PEO International website. And it's a reference guide called PEO Philanthropic Projects Fact Chart. Everything you need to know is conveniently all pulled together on that chart. So my name is Celia Swanson, and I'm a proud member of Chapter V's project team. And I'm going to talk about the interview process and then the chapter recommendation. We arranged ourselves this way at a dining table just to show how you can structure the setup of your interview. It's informal, it's conversational, and you really get the opportunity to really know the candidate through this informal setting. The second recommendation is you should have at least 3 sisters present who are able to be a part of the interview process. It's so helpful to have a couple of different people who can remember, oh, we need to get that piece of information, so let's ask that question. Or, oh, a reminder for the candidate on what they need to do in next steps. And then the third recommendation would be have someone at the end who wraps up and talks about next steps and becomes the person of contact for this applicant so that you can notify them when the applicant is approved or whatever the next steps are for this candidate, and just stay in touch with her over time. When it comes to the chapter recommendation, that's a wonderful part of this whole process, because now the 3 sisters have all been exposed to this candidate. You've written the chapter recommendation online, and you take that to the chapter meeting and you vote on it. The key here is to bring to life the fabulous aspects of this candidate to your other sisters as you vote to move forward with their application. It's really an awesome process.
It really is. I'm Amanda Firm, Chapter V president, and I know this may seem like a lot of information, but I can guarantee you the rewards are well worth it. These ladies have put so much time and effort into these candidates, and I can honestly say the only complaint I've ever heard is, how do we choose just one? In fact, they put together a wonderful newsletter. They had so many candidates that they wanted to share with people that can't make the meetings, and it just goes on, the potential out there. And they have done a great job of finding it, and we hope that you get out there and find more potential women to better themselves.